Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this is Hopeful Chewbacca back at the Church of Chewbacca, and today we're going to go over 3 more subscribers' teams, give them some team advice that will improve their team in the short term as well as the long term. Up today, we have Vmoisio, Kyle Johnston, and CheaterDax. We're going to go over all 3 of these teams, give them some improvements. Let's get into it. First up, we have Moisio, and on his first line, he has Solani, Winter National Taves, franchise great Marian Gaborik. The first defensive pair is Jonas Jerome Moser from the European Hockey Club, left-handed defenseman, 86 overall. Then the bronze Paul Coffey. Second liners are bronze Lemieux, Henrik Zetterberg's European Hockey Club, Andrei Svechnikov's Winter National card that was part of the options for Christmas gifts. Then Vili Sarajavi and Phil Bourque on the second defensive pair. Third liners are Owen Tippett, Base Crosby, Pierre-Luc Dubois, blockbuster card. Then Moritz Seider and Brandt Clark are the third defensive pair. That's their Winter National and NHL 2030 card respectively. Fourth liners are Peyton Krebs, NHL 2030 card, Sean Couturier's fantasy hockey card, 87 overall. Then to round out the fourth line, we have Eli Tolvanen, NHL 2030 card. Darcy Kemper's team of the week, 83 overall, is going to be his starting goaltender. Then Reese Prowl will be his backup goaltender that has distributor and spark as well as heart and soul. Brian Fiddler will be the coach. What this does for Vmoisio's team is has no player synergies activated, and then he has 2 team synergies activated as a distributor and spark. Let's see if we can get a third team synergy as well as some player synergies activated and improve some of his positions. His original team will be on the right. The new team will be on the left. So on the first line here, we're keeping Teemu Solani and Marian Gaborik on the wings. We're bumping Sean Couturier up from the 4th line to the 1st line and upgrading him to 90 overall. We're doing this so that he can get 2 Spark to help with the team synergy for Spark. Even though you already had 12 out of 10, it freezes up a little bit to get Swarm activated, so we're going to have to do this. I recommend that anybody that has fantasy hockey cards in their lineup upgrade them at least to 90 overall, because that's whenever their team synergy gets upgraded to 2 points rather than 1 point, whether it's Stone, Couturier, Besser, or Makar. Marian Gaborik with the 2 Sparks going to stay here in the team franchise. Great. Vili Sarajavi's European Hockey Club is going to get bumped up from the second defensive pair to the first defensive pair. Paul Coffey's bronze card is going to stay where he's at on the first defensive pair. He's one of the best defensemen. As soon as he gets his silver, I would upgrade him because he's a stud. Then we have Lemieux, Zetterberg, and Svechnikov staying the exact same. Seider gets the bump up to the second defensive pair to play with Ray Bourque. I think they'll make a pretty decent pair together, especially since we got Workhorse activated. What Workhorse does for this Ray Bourque, and I said this in a different review, is it upgrades his acceleration to 92, which makes him a significantly better defenseman in my opinion. It allows him to be quicker, and I think that really helps this card a lot, as well as Seider gets a bump with the acceleration as well for the Workhorse, giving him a 90 acceleration. He's a bigger body guy too at 6'4", so I think him and Bourque will work really well together. Third line, we're going to pick up this Patrick Laine. He has Workhorse and Swarm, and if you look at his attributes, he's labeled as a 91 overall. You don't need to go get the 92, but he plays it to a 93.35, and he's pretty close to an endgame card. He's a little bit slower than maybe you want for an endgame card, but his shot's phenomenal at 96 plus. He has great body checking for the 6'5" frame, great stick checking, defensive awareness. Overall, a very, very solid card with Workhorse activated as well as having Spark, Swarm, and Distributor activated in this team build. I think he's a very integral part of rebuilding this team. You had said you wanted to upgrade Sidney Crosby. Well, we'll upgrade him to the Winter National Sidney Crosby. Allows you to activate Wingman for this Dubois, which makes it Dubois better as well. But the Crosby comes in with 97 acceleration, 97 agility, 91 speed, very accurate shot at 96 with 90 wrist shot power. Great in the faceoff circle, 91 faceoffs, has amazing stick checking, can easily be used even though he's your third line center. Even though Sidney Crosby's not a penalty killer in real life, put him up to the task on this team. I think he'll be more than sufficient. Dubois, having Wingman activated, just gets him up to that 93 acceleration compared to 90. I think this makes this card just a little bit better, especially for the 6'3" frame. Then on the third defensive pair, we have Brandt Clark. Going to move him from right defense to left defense and bring in this Jake Muzzin, 89 overall. This Muzzin, when you have all of these synergies activated, he gets a 96 acceleration, 90 speed, bigger body at 6'3", has great body checking, great stick checking, and defense awareness, as you can see at 94 plus for those categories I mentioned. Becomes an elite passer with 97 passing. Really, really like this card with these synergies activated. The perfect synergy plug for your team. There are a little bit cheaper options that have Workhorse and Wingman that you can use on defense, but I think this Muzzin just plugs in perfectly with this Brandt Clark. For the fourth line, we'll bring Owen Tippett down from the third line to the fourth line. Jonathan Taves gets the bump all the way from the first line down to the fourth line center. Another guy you can use for penalty kills, will be very, very good in this build. Then this Taylor Hall. I've talked about this Taylor Hall before. He plays phenomenal at 90.6. He's less than 100,000 coins, 95 speed, 96 acceleration, has 90 plus shooting, as well as great stick checking defensive awareness. His hands are amazing. Defense, all the categories you want. He's a very, very well-rounded card at 88 overall. Going to add a lot of speed to this Tippett and Taves line. And he's a phenomenal penalty killer and fourth liner for this build as well. Bring in Thatcher Demko for some synergies. Get rid of this Darcy Kemper, as well as Demko's a bigger goaltender. I played against this card quite a few times. He's not the hardest to score on, but he's not the easiest either, especially for the price that he's going to be on the synergies. The biggest thing you got to worry about is you got to make sure that you box guys out and take away the one-timer, preferably. Give up the shot for this guy because he can save a lot of shots. The one-timers where he struggles a little bit. Hurdy's going to have to come in over this Prowl because you need to get the Swarm as the extra synergy for your backup goaltender. Brian Fiddler is still your coach. So what this does is we have a huge change in synergies. We get Wingman and Workhorse from this build. Unfortunately, we can't get Howitzer to help out Lemieux a little bit, but Lemieux with this build is really not that bad with his skating at 94 acceleration, 98 agility, 93 speed. As well as we activate Swarm, you still have Spark and Distributor. I think this is the way to go, man. I think you rebuild it this way. Your defense needs a little bit of upgrades long term. And you do that by upgrading the Paul Coffey. Phil Bourque will help. You can definitely get out of this Brent Clark with like a Brad Park or somebody, if you're okay with two left-handed defensemen, and upgrading the Brad Park to silver. Either way, I think the only thing you got left to do is upgrade your defense some that has the right synergies that you need. Other than that, I think this team's pretty nasty. You'll be able to compete with it against anybody, and it's well-balanced for some skating, for some shooting, and I think the lines are very balanced. Let me know in the comments down below what you think about the team. As you already have been, you can always direct message me if you need any more help or assistance. The next team up is going to be Kyle Johnston's team. I know it's labeled as One Fat Bull 420 and Slippery Stoners, but this is Kyle Johnston on the YouTube. So here's what we're going with. Lafleur, Gretzky, Team of the Year Pasternak, hell of a first line. Then we have Makar and Varensky on the first defensive pair. For the second line, we have Besser, Hut Fantasy Hockey at 91, Mario Lemieux, past meets present. Then 93 overall, Mark Stone Fantasy Hockey. Definitely another good second line. Jamie Drysdale's is second pair defense with Jake McCabe. The third liners are Silver Doug Gilmore, 93 overall Fantasy Hockey Sean Couturier, Cam Neely, then Brad Park and Bowen Byram. The Brad Park is a silver icon. Bowen Byram is the NHL 2030. Then he has the NHL 2030 Quentin Byfield that has 2 Spark, 89 overall. Franchise great Sidney Crosby. Then Nicholas Robertson's Maple Leafs card, NHL 2030. Then he has Peter Mrazek's Blockbusters and Benjamin Gaudreau as his backup goaltender with Brian Fiddler as a coach. What this does for Kyle Johnston here is he has Gladiator, Howitzer, Speedster, as well as Balanced, Distributor, Spark, and Swarm. So he has 3 team synergies activated already and some good player synergies. Let's see what we can do to improve this team. I think there's a few spots we can improve in, but obviously this is a nasty team with a lot of synergies already. So the improvements are going to be more subtle than some other team advice, but I think we can definitely help improve the team. The original team will be on the right. The team advice will be on the left. So what we have going on here on the first line is we have Guy Lafleur, Wayne Gretzky, and then I'm bringing in silver icon Joe Sakic. I think he's a must-have on your team, and he looks very fancy next to this Cale Makar and Zach Werenski, who's going to be the first defensive pair still. On a second line, we have Brock Besser, Mario Lemieux is going to stay the same. Then we have David Pasternak getting bumped down to the second line because of the Joe Sakic. And then we have Jamie Drysdale and Brad Park. We're just moving the Brad Park up to the second defensive pair. We're taking out the Jake McCabe. I would sell him or whatever. I think you can definitely need a better defenseman there. Mark Stone's getting bumped to the third line left wing. Sean Couturier is going to stay the center. Doug Gilmore's moving over to the right wing. Then we're bringing in silver Chris Chelios. Another amazing card. I think his attributes are phenomenal for a bottom pair defenseman. 93 speed, 91 acceleration, 96 agility. The endurance is a little bit low, but that's okay because of him being in the third defensive pair. Amazingly hard shot at 97 with 90 slap shot accuracy. Great deking in hands. Amazing defense, amazing checking. Almost everything's max in the important categories. And he just plays way above his attributes in my opinion. Byram's going to stay the exact same there. On the fourth line, we're going a complete swap-arinos here and just bringing in some absolute studs to give you some ideas of what you can do. We have Jeremy Roenick, silver icon, Joe Nieuwendyk, silver icon, then Sebastian Aho in the European Hockey Clubs, 92 overall. That was actually a master set player. And we're going to go with this option that has balance and wingman. For the goaltending, we have Peter Mrazek and Anton Khudobin, as well as Brian Fiedler. Now, on this fourth line, the reason I switch it to this is I think that if you're going to have 14 synergies activated, this Jeremy Roenick with the 96 speed, the super hard shot, wrist shot and slap shot, as well as great body checking and defense awareness, is a supreme guy to have as a penalty killer on your fourth line. Just can do everything. I think Joe Nieuwendyk is the absolute best fourth line center in the game, in my opinion. I know there's some others that think the same way. With 96 faceoffs, 95 stick checking, 99 defense awareness, great body checking, amazing shot, and his hands are great too. I just think he's all around the best fourth line center if you have an absolutely stacked team. Sebastian Aho is just amazing with his synergies activated. I didn't realize this card was so good with all the synergies activated. He blows it to a 95.3 from a 92. He has 96 acceleration, 98 agility, 92 speed. His wrist shot accuracy becomes a 99 with 96 wrist shot power. So one of the best wrist shots in the game with these boosts. Then his hands are pretty much maxed. Good body checking for a guy that's not really a body checker. 91 body checking, 93 strength, 97 durability are the bumps here. And his defensive awareness is 99 with 98 stick checking. Your fourth line will be an absolute shutdown line. And what we're doing here is we're activating Wingman, which is huge for this Doug Gilmour because it gives him some more acceleration, which makes him such a better skater at 94 acceleration compared to that 91. He's playing all the way up to a 93.9, almost a 94 with the synergies activated. That's what we like to see when we do these team reviews. Yes, you're getting rid of Cam Neely. Yes, you're selling Byfield. Yes, you're selling Crosby. Yes, you're selling Robertson. That's like a wholesale on your third and fourth line. But I think it's worth it. And now, are you going to be in a deficit of coins? You sure are. I'm going to be honest with you. It doesn't come free whenever your team's already stacked. I'm assuming you have a pretty good coin stack. I'm sure you have some flexibility. You might even have the icon collectible sitting around to make the Sakic and Nieuwendyk and the Aho. Well, not make the Aho, but, pick them up. I think this is the way to go. Oh, as well as the Chelios. And it gives you some future upwards mobility. Oh, the Joe Sakic is another guy I'll probably have to upgrade. You can still upgrade Lafleur and Gretzky and get rid of some of these other cards. Lemieux will be able to get an upgrade. But I think this is the way to go. If you upgrade this Lafleur, you can bring in somebody else that has Swarm, like the Drew Doughties, Master Set Player, somebody else where you don't need to have this Jamie Drysdale. He kind of has to stay in there right now. Same with this Bowen Byram. You get this Lemieux upgraded. You can bring in somebody with less distributor. You can eventually move out this Zach Werenski. There's just a lot of flexibility long-term as well, but I think this build right here, I don't know if you'll be able to do it right now, but it's something just to give you some food for thought about what you can go after. This fourth line is better than most people's first line on their team. Absolutely nasty. I don't know what division you're playing at, but I'm sure it's a higher division because you have a nasty team. And with that normally comes a pretty decent player for the most part. Good luck. I hope this gave you an idea of maybe how to rework your team a little bit to add some pieces to solidify it to even a better team than it already is. Let me know in the comments down below. You can also join the Discord. I don't think you're in there yet, and you can always private message me on Discord, or you can just talk through YouTube on comments. I'm more than happy with that as well. I hope you enjoy some of the ideas I had here. Last but not least, we're going to go over CheaterDax team. And on his first line, he has Lafleur, 89 overall, Sean Couturier, the Patrick Kane Team of the Week 89, base Drew Doughty, Logan Stanley's 2 Barrage. And then you're looking here for the Alexander Nylander, Mario Lemieux's bronze icon, then P.S. Suter, which is the NHL 2030 card. He has Chris Letang's Hut Halloween card, 84 overall. Jacob Slavin's Dynamic Duo Volume 2. Then Yari Curry's bronze icon. Adam Oates' bronze icon. Maurice Richard's Hut Icons, 85 overall. John Carlson and Oliver Ekman-Larsson's base cards. Fourth line is Jack Roslovich, which is Team of the Week 80 overall. Joe Nieuwendyk's bronze card with Lucas Reichel. I think this is one of the better budget cards when it comes to having distributor. Then he has Robin Leonard's Team of the Week 86 overall. Then Andre Vasilevsky's 86 overall base card. Brian Fiedler's coach for 3 distributor. What this does is he has Howitzer, Speedster, and Distributor activated. Let's see if we can get a second team synergy activated for a decent price. The original team is on the right. The team review is on the left. So on the first line, we're going to keep it pretty much the same, except we're going to upgrade the Sean Couturier to Fantasy Hockey card up to 90 overall. As I mentioned, everyone should get those cards at 90 overall. That's when you get the synergy boost, and that's very important. The Kane and Lafleur is going to stay around him on the first line. I think is a pretty good first forward line. And we're going to get this Kevin Shattenkirk. He's under 100,000 coins. I know he might not be the most budget card, but he plays way above his 88 overall. I'm going to hype up this card a little bit. Probably not only in this team review, probably in another team review coming down the pipeline. Only because this Shattenkirk plays really well. He plays above what his attributes are. And that's all you can ask for whenever you're going after these cards, especially for guys that don't have the most coins. You want to get guys that are worth your coin stack, and I think this Shattenkirk is one of them. Gonna bring in Moser, another guy that I think skates really well for the card that he has. I don't think he's like a lead or anything, but I think he's a good price for a defenseman that has spark. So we're going to sell this Doughty and Logan. For the second line, we have Nylander and Lemieux. They're untradeable. Obviously, we're going to keep them on the line. They're great cards. We're going to bring in Dale Hawerchuk. He's under 30,000 coins, or still should be. His price might have went up a little bit, but I don't think it did. I think it's still under that price on PlayStation at least. Sell the Suter. We're also going to sell Letang and Slavin. We're going to bring in Dougie Hamilton, Slavin's partner for the Dynamic Duo Volume 2, because I just think he's a better version of these two cards. And I think they're about the same price. The Dougie Hamilton at 6'6" is absolutely killer. With this Keith Yandle's primetime cards, with the 86 or 87, are just phenomenal cards. Like, the attributes are ridiculous. He's an 86, but he plays in almost an 88 at 87.95 with just howitzer, distributor, and spark. He has 91 acceleration, 92 agility, 93 speed. His shooting isn't very accurate, but it's hard at 92. The body checking isn't great, but he's an offensive defenseman. The defensive awareness is 87, and the stick checking is 88. And he has great passing and puck control. I think he's a heck of a budget defenseman. Definitely can get him for under 50K. For the third line, we have Yari Curry, going to keep him the exact same. We're going to upgrade this Joe Nieuwendyk to Silver Icon, and this might be a little bit pricey, but the reason we're doing this is it allows you to activate Spark, because you get the 2 Spark out of him, on top of upgrading Couturier, bringing in Hawerchuk. Shattenkirk all helps for that. But it also activates Gladiator for not only Shattenkirk, but Dale Hawerchuk, which just makes the cards a little bit better. What the Gladiator does is I'll show you real quick. It gives you a boost in slap shot power, strength, body checking, and defensive awareness. So it definitely makes that Shattenkirk a lot better, and it makes this Joe Nieuwendyk one of those elite third or fourth liners. I mean, you can bump him up into the first or second line if you like. He is that good of a card. We're going to keep Lucas Reichel on the right wing with the Nieuwendyk and Curry. For this defensive pair here, we bring in some guys that are wearing St. Louis Blues jerseys. Even though this Huddy's an LA King version of him, it's Al McGinnis's bronze icon and Charlie Huddy's 94 flashback. And the reason we're bringing in this Huddy's to keep this howitzer at a good price. Huddy is not the best card, but I think he's an okay budget card at 88 speed, 86 acceleration, has pretty good defensive numbers, and that's what we were looking for in the third defensive pair. The Al McGinnis is not the best skater, 85 speed and acceleration, but he does okay. He seems to read where the puck's going, and that's what I like about the card. I'm thinking about upgrading mine to silver. He gets a rotation in the third defensive pair for me personally. On the fourth line, we have Matthew Barzal. Great budget team of the week, 85 overall for this Jack Roslovich. I think it's an upgrade. This is also one of the reasons why you have to bring in Huddy, because we're going to get rid of this Roslovich and bring in this Matthew Barzal. 92 speed, 93 acceleration should speak for itself over that Roslovich. That's only going to give you 88 speed and 81 acceleration. I mean, even if you put on Spark, it's only 85 acceleration. So you're getting a much better skating Barzal here. Adam Oates gets bumped from the third line to the fourth line. Another budget guy that I don't know if a lot of people know about. He doesn't have the best shot, but this Clayton Keller with just distributor and spark, he gets 90 speed, 91 acceleration. I saw him for like less than 15,000 on the market. There's not too many of them up, but he has actually really good attributes for an offensive type of budget forward. 93 deking, 92 passing, 92 puck control. The shot isn't all the way there in the mid-80s, but it's not too bad. Then the stick checking defense awareness isn't horrible for a budget guy. 84 stick checking, 85 defensive awareness. I actually like this Clayton Keller for a budget guy that has spark on a fourth line. Leonard, and then we're bringing in Hurdy. Get rid of this Vasilevsky, or pick whichever one you want, whether it's Vasilevsky or Leonard. You might want to sell the Leonard because he's probably worth more than Vasi is and move Vasi to starting goaltending. But either way, pick one, go with them as your starter, bring in Hurdy as the backup. Fiddler's going to be your coach. I think in this review, we did a pretty good job here. You get Gladiator and Howitzer. Unfortunately, we're losing Speedster, which stinks a little bit for Lafleur and Oates. But those are two guys you can upgrade to their silvers and you'll have Speedster back, which is something I advise doing, is holding your icon collectibles and upgrading the HUT icons you do have to silver. But we do have Gladiator and Howitzer, and we activate Spark and Distributor. We already had Distributor activated, but I think adding the Spark on a relatively decent budget is a big way to improve your team. It's going to make everybody have that acceleration, and I think that's huge. +4 acceleration on every card is big in itself, and you do that by improving your team as well, getting out some of the guys that really aren't worth probably how much you paid for them, and getting back some other guys that I think fit your team a little bit better. I think this is the way to go. At least gives you an idea of what you should build towards. Hopefully you like the review. Hopefully it helps you out, CheaterDax. Let me know in the comments as well as in the Discord and private if you would like. We can talk about it a little bit if there's some things that maybe you have questions about. But I think this is the way to go. I think this is a great strategy to improve your team, to get you that second team synergy, as well as improve some of the guys that are going to be permanently on your team with the Gladiator. That's going to wrap up the team advice and the team review for these 3 subscribers. I think we improved each one of their teams. obviously in different ways because they're at different stages in their team building. I think it's fair to say that Kyle Johnston's team was absolutely ridiculous. The other two teams were a little bit more budget-based. Vmoisio's team was kind of like what an average team is in HUD at this point in the game if you started playing when the game first came out. You should have a team that's relatively close to his, maybe not the exact same, but if you play the game on an everyday basis or every other day basis, your team should roughly be that if you use your stuff wisely. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about this team advice, these team reviews. Maybe you guys see a spot in one of their lineups that you could improve a little bit better, or say, hey, maybe this idea works a little bit better for this. I'm all for some constructive criticism if you think there's a player that fits into a build better than what I suggested. I'm not perfect, and I'm just out here trying to help you guys improve your teams and give you guys some ideas. If you guys want to have your team reviewed, it's 3 easy steps. First, you have to subscribe to the channel. Second, you have to join the Discord, where the link is in the description next to the instructions on how to get your team reviewed. Third, you're going to have to drop your URL for your team from NHL HUT Builder into the proper channel that is labeled subscriber team URL channel. Drop your link in there. I'll add you to the queue. The queue's pretty extensive right now. We're sitting at about 30 plus people. I'm trying to get through it as quickly as we can. Some of these videos might get bumped up to maybe 4 teams rather than 3. Just to save us some time in videos. The videos are getting a little bit longer and longer, so we might have to reformat this a little bit. Maybe I'll try out a new format in the next video that comes out and kind of see how it goes. As always, I appreciate all of your guys' support. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video with any of your friends that play NHL 21. Also, give this video a thumbs up. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm, and I'd appreciate that. You guys have a great day, and be safe.